Ever dream of a career where you're like calling the shots on these huge e-deals, like millions of dollars, diving into market trends and like shaping entire
It's
industries?
heady stuff.
It is. Well, that's the world of a purchaser. And you know what? You handed us a stack of RoleCatcher resources to kind of unlock the secrets. So let's dive in.
And these resources, I gotta say, they go way beyond, procurement for beginners. We're talking insights into AI, global trends.
Mixed level stuff.
Seriously, the kind of insider tips that can make or break a career.
Okay, so right off the bat, RoleCatcher's career guide, it paints this picture of a purchaser as like a strategic mastermind.
Yeah.
Not just someone who snags a good deal, but like,
They're anticipating needs.
yes, predicts what a company will need before they even know it.
It's that forward-thinking approach that's driving some serious demand, by the way.
Makes sense.
This guide, it highlights how companies are realizing that procurement, it's not just about saving money, it's a competitive edge.
So job security, front row seat to the biggest deals, sign me up. But RoleCatcher keeps it real too. Gotta give them that. They mention the pressure, the deadlines, the potential for those like 60-hour work weeks.
It's about finding the right fit, absolutely.
100%.
This guide, it wisely points out that it's not just about the job title. It's the company culture, the industry,
Yeah.
even your personality.
Oh, for sure.
Are you someone who thrives on adrenaline
Well,
or prefers a more, steady pace?
totally. Which brings up something that really stood out to me. The functions and core abilities section. Negotiation skills, obviously.
Table stakes.
Right. But they emphasize analysis, problem solving almost as much.
Interesting.
It's like being part detective, part financial whiz.
And a touch of futurist, wouldn't you say?
Oh, tell me more.
The guide stresses the growing role of technology, especially AI.
Okay, getting into it?
It's not just spreadsheets anymore. We're talking algorithms that can predict, like supply chain disruptions before they even happen.
Whoa. Which brings us to their section on Beat the Automated Recruiter. Honestly, a little unsettling. Are we now competing with robots for jobs?
In a way, yeah. I mean, many companies are using AI to go through applications.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And RoleCatcher, to their credit, they pull back the curtain on how these systems work.
Okay, I'm listening.
They analyze your resume like it's code, looking for specific keywords, skills, anything that matches that job description.
So it's like this invisible gatekeeper you have to impress before a human even sees it.
Pretty much.
Wow. So that's where RoleCatcher's CV resume builder tool comes in, right? It's like having an AI translator on your side.
Precisely. Think of it as optimizing your resume for both human eyes and algorithms.
So smart.
It's fascinating how the job market's adapting. And RoleCatcher doesn't just tell you about it, they give you the tools to win.
I like that.
They even have this AI-powered practice tool for interviews.
No way.
Yeah. Imagine getting feedback from an algorithm on your body language, your tone of voice. It's about taking the fear out of the unknown.
Mm.
AI can be intimidating, but RoleCatcher helps you understand it. Leverage it, even turn it into an advantage.
It's like having a glimpse into the future of hiring.
Exactly.
I'm into it. And then they have this massive database of over 120,000 practice interview questions,
Comprehensive.
broken down by career and skill, like having a cheat sheet for your dream job.
Though it's not about memorizing the answers.
Right, right.
It's about understanding what those questions are really getting at.
Makes sense.
Like when they ask about a time you failed, they're looking for resilience,
Mm.
learning agility.
It's about showcasing those soft skills, right?
Exactly.
Adaptability,
Mm-hmm.
critical thinking, communication.
All of it.
Which brings us to their career compass tool.
Oh, I love that tool.
It's like choose your own adventure for your career.
Right.
You can map out different paths within procurement, identify potential employers, even find courses to fill any skill gaps you might have.
So cool.
And what's cool is it encourages a long-term vision, right?
Absolutely.
Not just chasing that next job, but planning a whole trajectory.
Love that.
Okay, we've barely scratched the surface here,
Personally.
but I already have a million questions. What stands out to you as the most surprising thing RoleCatcher reveals about becoming a purchaser?
For all the talk about numbers and contracts, the thing that surprised Emmy most was the emphasis on human connection.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a career for lone wolves. It's about building those relationships with suppliers, navigating internal politics, truly understanding the needs of your stakeholders.
Yeah, it's like they say, it's not business, it's personal.
And in procurement, it seems that's especially true. It's those soft skills, the ability to listen, persuade, navigate those sometimes tricky interpersonal dynamics that can make or break a career.
So you're saying even with all the AI, all the automation in the world,
Yep.
the human touch is still what makes a great purchaser.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is that RoleCatcher recognizes this. They don't just focus on those technical skills. They weave in the importance of emotional intelligence, communication, even a bit of psychology.
Okay, I'm hooked.
Right?
Let's dive deeper into those essential soft skills because it sounds like they're just as important as any spreadsheet wizardry in this world.
Precisely. Let's unpack what it takes to truly master that art of persuasion, negotiation, and building those all-important relationships. Because in this field, it's those human connections that can really make all the difference. You know, it's funny, right? We think of procurement, and it's all data, spreadsheets, analytics.
Right, very left-brained.
But RoleCatcher, they make it clear that the real magic, it's in those human interactions.
It's like that old saying, people buy from people. Even if those
Yeah.
people are like billion-dollar corporations.
There's still that human element driving the deal, and that's where those soft skills come in.
Okay, so break it down for us.
So RoleCatcher, they dive deep into specifics, like active listening, for example. Sounds basic, but they argue it's like the cornerstone of any strong supplier relationship.
See, now active listening, that's just making eye contact, nodding along, right?
It's so much more than that. RoleCatcher explains it as truly understanding, like, the subtext.
Ooh, get into it.
Maybe a supplier is hesitant about a deadline, right? Not because they're being difficult, but maybe they're facing supply chain bottlenecks that you don't even know about.
Interesting.
Active listening, it uncovers those hidden concerns. And then you can find creative solutions that benefit both parties.
So it's like being a detective, but for unspoken needs.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes those negotiation skills even more important.
Right. And RoleCatcher points out that persuasion, in this world, it's not about manipulation.
Good to know.
It's about crafting a compelling case. So imagine you're trying to get a supplier on board with, say, a new sustainability initiative.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of demanding they comply, you come with the data on how this could reduce their costs, improve their image, even open up new markets for them.
So you're aligning your goals, finding that win-win.
Exactly.
No wonder they emphasize emotional intelligence. You need to read between the lines, understand people's motivations, tailor your approach.
And sometimes those motivations are driven by, like, internal pressures that you would never see coming.
Oh, like what?
Maybe your contact at the supplier is getting pushback from their finance team. Or there's a merger happening that changes everything overnight.
It's a whole chess game happening behind the scenes.
Right. But knowing that makes a huge difference in how you navigate the whole negotiation.
Prefer, sir. And inevitably, I mean, there will be conflicts, right? That's part of making
Oh,
deals.
it's inevitable. It's part of the process. But RoleCatcher stresses that conflict isn't inherently bad. It's how you handle it that matters.
Okay, so what's their take on conflict resolution? Because I feel like most people, they either avoid conflict like the plague,
Right.
or they go in like guns blazing.
Yeah. Neither of which is ideal.
Not really.
They advocate for this more nuanced approach, addressing conflicts directly, but with empathy. You focus on the problem, not the person.
I like that.
So let's say a shipment arrives late, throws your whole production schedule off. Instead of firing off that angry email,
Yeah,
right,
I'd have been there.
you get on a call with the supplier, you acknowledge the impact the delay has had, but you also give them space to explain.
Because maybe there was a natural disaster, a labor strike, something totally out of their control.
Exactly.
You're not letting them off the hook,
Right.
but you're opening the door for a more productive conversation.
And that's where those creative solutions often emerge. RoleCatcher actually gives this great example of a purchaser who, through this kind of empathetic conflict resolution, they discovered their supplier was struggling to source a key material.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there's a sudden price spike. They couldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did they do? They worked together, found an alternative supplier, saved the deal, and ended up strengthening their relationship through the whole process.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right.
It sounds like mastering these soft skills, it's not just good for business, it's like a superpower in procurement.
Absolutely. And the best part is these are transferable skills. So even if you decide procurement isn't for you,
Yeah.
being able to listen actively, persuade ethically, resolve conflict effectively, that will serve you well in A&Y career. Any relationship, really.
It's like their life skills disguised as job requirements.
Right.
Okay, this is fascinating. So what else did RoleCatcher uncover about this field? I'm really curious now.
Well, they delve into some interesting nuances, like the importance of specialization, the global nature of procurement, even how to stand out in an interview, which is huge. Are you ready to dive deeper?
Absolutely. Let's see what other secrets RoleCatcher has unlocked. Welcome back, everyone.
It's amazing. We've only just dipped our toes into the purchaser world, and already it's feeling like anything but yet the ordinary.
That's the thing about these deep dives, right? You quickly realize there's always more beneath the surface.
Oh, and RoleCatcher, we got to hand it to them, they don't shy away from those less obvious aspects of the career.
Okay, so spill it. What hidden gems did they unearth?
Well, one thing that really jumped out at me was the sheer breadth of industries where procurement is essential. Like, we're not just talking about your typical manufacturing or retail.
Right.
Think healthcare, government, even entertainment.
Wait, hold up. Entertainment, you mean like working behind the scenes in Hollywood? That's a little more glamorous than I pictured.
Right. Imagine sourcing, like, sustainable costumes for a blockbuster film.
Hmm.
Or negotiating contracts for some cutting-edge virtual production technology.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
RoleCatcher's database, it shows that these procurement skills, they're transferable to practically any industry you can think of.
So it's like your own interests, whether it's fashion, tech, saving the planet, whatever, those can actually become your path within this field. It's not one size fits all at all.
Not even close. And it's not confined to one corner of the world either. RoleCatcher really emphasizes the global nature of procurement, especially now with these interconnected supply chains.
Oh, for sure. Gone are the days of just sourcing locally.
Right. Now it's about navigating international trade agreements, cultural nuances.
Maybe brushing up on your Mandarin.
Exactly. They highlight this one story, this purchaser who landed a major deal with a supplier in Japan.
Wow.
And not just because of their negotiating skills, but because they took the time to learn about Japanese business etiquette, build that rapport,
Smart.
those soft skills in action on a global scale.
Okay, I'm getting serious travel envy right now.
Right.
But it makes sense. You're dealing with suppliers across time zones, different cultures.
Totally.
That sensitivity becomes just as important as, like, crunching the numbers.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher, they really emphasize that the most successful purchasers, they're adaptable, they're culturally intelligent, always curious to learn new ways of doing business. They even suggest, like, language classes, cultural immersion experiences as professional development.
That is so cool. It's like being a global citizen is part of the job description.
I love that.
Okay, but amidst all this exciting talk of travel, diverse industries, RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the challenges either, do they?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
They're very upfront about the fact that procurement is constantly evolving, which means continuous learning is non-negotiable.
So it's not like you get that certification and then just coast on your expertise?
Nope. They emphasize staying up to date on industry trends, new tech,
So much to learn.
emerging risks. Think blockchain, AI-driven logistics, even the geopolitical landscape.
Wow.
It all factors in.
It's like being a professional student of the business world, always having to, adapt and expand your knowledge. No wonder they were talking about those online courses, those industry events. It's about being a lifelong learner.
100%. And a bit of a detective, too, especially when it comes to ethics.
Ooh, interesting.
RoleCatchers spends a surprising amount of time on this whole ethical sourcing, supply chain transparency thing.
Yeah, it makes sense with all the concerns these days about, labor practices, environmental impact. It's not just about getting the cheapest deal anymore.
Right. They highlight companies that have faced huge backlash for unethical sourcing, right? Damage to their reputation, their bottom line.
Yeah.
So purchasers now, they have this huge responsibility to make sure their supply chains are ethical, that they're transparent.
And that takes real investigative skills. Like you have to really dig into supplier practices, understand certifications,
Due diligence.
maybe even conduct on-site visits.
Absolutely.
That's-
They even provide a framework for ethical decision-making.
Yeah.
Suggest questions to ask suppliers about their labor practices, their environmental impact, commitment to fair trade, all of that.
It's like being an ethical guardian of the supply chain,
Right.
which, when you think about it, is a pretty powerful position to be in.
For sure. And it's those purchasers who prioritize ethics, sustainability, long-term value.
Yeah.
They're the ones shaping the future of this field.
Wow. We have covered so much ground, from AI algorithms to global negotiations, ethical sourcing to, like, Hollywood backlots. It's clear that procurement is anything but predictable.
Right.
And with RoleCatcher as your guide, it feels a lot less daunting to navigate this exciting, always evolving world.
They've really outdone themselves with these resources.
They have.
It's a roadmap for anyone who's up for the challenge, right?
Yes.
The learning curve, the thrill of kind of shaping the future, one deal at a time.
So for those of you out there who are ready to dive in, embrace the complexity, and really master the art of the deal, the world of procurement is waiting. And who knows, maybe we'll be doing a deep dive into your career journey someday.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time, ready to explore another fascinating corner of the professional world.